So, a quick introduction on Haymarket HQ. We are, of course, a wonderful co-working hub in the heart of Sydney, but we also do virtual programs when it comes to startups, trying to go into new markets overseas, or international companies coming into Australia. We also do a lot of virtual programs and events and workshops in the Web3 space more recently. We've got a great network of investors and mentors all across the world, and of course, a great community like yourselves here. So if you want to find out a little bit more about what we do, how we can help you, or if you're just looking for a space for your business or to hang, come chat to me after this. More than happy to talk you through it. And then a quick shout out to Tech Central. So Tech Central is basically Sydney's tech precinct, and we are, of course, a part of that. They are sponsoring the event tonight, so if you want to learn more, I'm sure they have their website somewhere here, or you can give them a Google. And of course, the Kimmies, if you don't know, is a very fun NFT collection created by Juko, who is the CEO of Haymarket. It's a little passion project. Tonight we're actually doing a giveaway, so stay tuned to see how you can enter. And of course, we've got our wonderful food by Parliament on King. All right. I know a lot of you guys love collecting things and you love NFTs, so we've set up POAPs. So last time, it was our first time, so the POAPs were sent sort of like afterwards, but this time managed to get them on time. If you're interested, just scan the QR code to collect them. Otherwise, send us a message with the word POAP and I can send you your direct link. And I'll just quickly see a few people take photos. Oh, and for those of you who don't know what POAPs are, they're basically just NFTs to commemorate the fact that you've come to this wonderful event. And we all love free stuff. Ooh. Right, cool, I'll have the QR code after this as well. Alright, a giveaway. We've got Kimmies. Well, we've got one Kimmy to give away. At the moment, it is quite lucrative. So this thing is going gangbusters right now. We're giving away a free one. And it's really, really simple. All you have to do is just follow us at Haymarket HQ and then follow the Kimmies. Send us a tweet, any tweet, take a photo of this event, tell us what your favorite dish was, tell us who your favorite pitch was, whatever it is, and tag us with the hashtag NFT Pitch Night. The more posts you do, whether it's on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, counts as one entry, and then I'll just be doing a lucky dip. I'll take one, and then you guys will get a free Kimmy. Super simple. Cool. All right, pitch night. How does this work? So it's very, very simple. We've got 7 wonderful presenters today. Each one will have 3 minutes to give their pitch. At the back, I'll just be waving at you guys frantically once 3 minutes is up, and then we'll open it up to the audience to do a quick Q&A. So just put your hands up if you've got any questions, and then we'll move on to the next pitch. And yeah, that's about it. So I'll share everyone's details and links and Discord servers and everything after the event as well, so you can get in touch with the founders. And I think that's about it. So let's begin. So our first one is our Grand Alphabet Art Project. Take it away.
Bill actually said that I get an extra 30 seconds because I'm first and get nervous. No. Hi everyone, I'm James. This is a little project we're working on called the Grand Alphabet Art Project. Do I have a quick? Yep. Cool. Fantastic. First, okay, I'd like you all to picture this. Imagine having a printed poster in your child's room, a few niece, grandchild, whatever it is, with a collection of all your favourite NFTs from a community which you regularly interact with. So while helping your child learn the fundamentals of language, you can also tell them stories about the development of Web3. So, if anyone knows Algorand, so that how goannas help plant trees, mutant whales are helping to clean up the ocean, or how providing liquidity to different asset pools yield you a 31% APR. Probably won't be telling them that one. Web3 technologies are still in the infancy, right? So, to onboard the next 100 million users, fundamental education pillars will need to be created in order for people to feel safe to interact with the blockchain. This project aims to onboard new users and educate them so that they don't make the same mistakes that we all have. And put your hand up if you're not bleeding money in the market right now. Anyone? So, what is it? It's a collaboration basically between artists and community people, just consisting of multiple collections of letters from the English alphabet In the short term, it's about extensive networking of collaborators and showcasing it all under one banner. In the medium term, I'd like to onboard a lot of new users to our brand and then to educate them about the Web3, right? NFTs, DeFi, GameFi. We do see some education out there, but just to be a one space. Something I've likened to recently is like the lobby of games just before you get into the game. Just helps people to understand what's going on. In the long term, I'd love to be able to create an NFT project verification process and then also build a platform for project like blockchain skills development. So there's going to be a market there for people in the community, managers, ambassadors. Obviously, we need more devs out there as well. How do we do this? So Alphabet sets will be created as individual letter NFTs and combined with all the different NFTs into a larger set. Quarterly releases via shuffles, giveaways, auctions. And then as the project grows, we'll integrate it onto the website, and then we'll have ideas about staking, burning and minting for posters, merchandising and onboarding of those users. These are actually the fonts that I've had created, which will be the basis of what the art can then grow from there, basically. Collaborators, so you can all fit into different categories. You can just base part of the community, you can be a community champion. There's artists out there who don't have collections. Blockchain companies can get involved, and then based off your sales volume, if you are an artist that's got a collection, you can go into one of these different tiers there. Lots of incentives both for the community, everything from being part of the Discords to eventually once you've got some staking up there, secondary market incentives are there. Same thing for artists. We want to be able to involve their communities as well and basically swap a lot of marketing for their services of creating really beautiful pieces of work. Blockchain companies as well, they've got their own communities, but then also once we create a bit of an education pillar, they can be at the forefront, so their names will be there with everybody else. That's about it. How do they go? 3 minutes? If anyone wants to get involved, please come and have a chat. I can collaborate with anyone. Thanks very much.
I will just open up for questions if anyone has any questions for me.
Have you planned on your education pieces yet, or have you planned your education pieces yet, or not?
No, not yet. It's the first one. Kind of the documentation of the whole process is where the first one's going to start. So how to NFT, how to build it. It's realistically starting also from the community management point of view, and then ultimately once I can find some developers to work with to then start to create larger courses. But very early on in the idea development. This guy's hand was first, sorry, and I'm probably
Thanks. Could you elaborate a bit more on your project verification process that you're looking at in the future?
Sure, yeah. So what I'd love to be able to see is, I mean, there have been NFT projects that obviously just die after a certain amount of time, right? So the idea of having, it's almost like a launch pad that you can see people come in and they get some benefits of all the different skills of the people that are involved in the project. But also then it's almost like the tick that then says, hey guys, wider community of people, this is a project that's gone through its paces. This is a project that, we almost privately have doxed the creative. They don't want to, dox the entire community to start with. And also they've got a team behind them that's working to create, a project that has a sustainable future. Last one.
Yeah. Why algorithm?
Good question. It's better than a lot of the other blockchains. The tech for me is bounced around very early about a few different ones. Even I'm into $200 worth of Ethereum onto Algorand the other day. It cost me $1.20. It's about 12,000 times more expensive than a transaction on Algorand, right? So for someone who's not really been involved and doesn't have a lot of money on these blockchains, $1.20 here and there is something, but then when something's a micro algo, it just feels ridiculous, right? And the seamlessness of what I've had on that so far has been wonderful, and the community of NFT creators there so far have also been excellent. So it's just where I found my home. Cool. Thank you very much. Enjoy that.
All right, and next we have Eddie with Tokenmates Podcasts.
G'day everyone. Alright, so a bit different. I'm not going to be pitching like a specific NFT project. Today I'm just going to quickly talk about, in 3 minutes hopefully, making Web3 accessible through education and inspiration. Actually, kind of what I'm pitching is EG Collective, this tiny thing up here. But basically, I've worked in technology, creative technology for like 5 to 10 years. I just moved back from Australia after working in the US and in Europe in like agencies and startups. And in the last couple of years, we were finding we were getting so many requests for Web3 projects from like various companies. And they essentially would come to us and say, hey, I'm ready for a metaverse project, just one of those please. And we'd sort of say like, yeah, what are you talking about? Like, we'd actually really, like, how can we even have a conversation? So we thought, you know, we had these opportunities to sort of educate a lot of people on Web3, you know, bring them in a really sort of like welcoming way that's not super daunting and tribalistic and crypto. And so we formed this thing called EG Collective, which is essentially myself and some of my mates who are artists, developers, designers from all over the world, and together we're collaborating on a series of sort of like NFT projects, crypto projects, things like this. With the most exciting one being a podcast called Tokenmates Podcasts, which is interesting because before I had to say, oh, I'm a white guy who works in crypto, and now I have to say I'm a white guy who works in crypto with a podcast, which is an interesting personal brand to try and maintain in 2022. But essentially, Tokenmates, we sort of have this weekly podcast where we talk about the latest in crypto, in NFTs, in blockchain, in metaverse, and we also have like an introductory series to try and onboard new people that when we started it, we were sort of saying, hey, let's like make this for like the mums and the uncles. Turns out that was really hard, trying to explain like a blockchain to just like someone you think is like a grandma. We had like an intro series, and then now we just do like weekly episodes. So that's kind of the main thing we wanted to pitch today, but as part of the EG Collective thing that we mentioned, is we also collaborate with artists. So if you're an artist with just, you know, you kind of make cool art and maybe you do generative stuff on art blocks, or you're just trying to put a collection out there on like Twitter or something, you don't know what you're doing. We work with artists to try and help them with their like strategy and their go-to-market. We work with businesses like the Bored and Hungry thing, which is like in Long Beach. We didn't do this, but we're doing stuff similar to this, more around using NFTs as like access tokens to communities, and also working with some charities. This one in Brazil I actually can't really talk about, but you know, it's fun working with charities. So that's essentially what we do at EG Collective, and we talk about it in Tokenmates Podcast. This is me, and one more thing I want to mention is me and my mate did the podcast, minted moonbirds that both have hats, which is pretty sick. So that's the branding. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions for Eddie?
I was just nailed it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, mate.
Sorry to interrupt. You've seen people like Joe Blum and the others in the US that have tremendous successful podcasts which have built the revenue. Is the podcast going to be cash flow? And how are you going to monetize it? Or the answer is this is just branding for.
It's 100% just branding. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good question.
We have a question. On your slides, it mentions that you help with NFTs for businesses. Can you elaborate a little bit on that and like how, like say you're like a small business or just a brand can incorporate NFTs and stuff like that?
For sure, yeah, any business that has some sort of level of like membership or fandom around it, so as like creating collections, you know, you might have like in a gym, you know, you tap into your gym and every time you tap in you get like a streak, or you're like a restaurant and you have like a VIP program or something like that. So basically onboarding those types of businesses into the blockchain and kind of future-proofing them for future stuff like that for their customers on members.
So you help like educate them and then like get artists, or do you like?
Yeah, exactly. Education is the main thing, just like helping them understand properly like the potential of it, and then from there like pointing it in the right directions. Yeah. Yeah, mate.
Where can we find the podcast? Like,
Oh, did I miss that? Wow, that would have been rubbish. It's tokenmates.xyz. XYZ.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, next we have Dia.
Hi everyone. If you wonder, this is the Kimis. So I have a few of them and love them. But the host will like it if I get the show. Anyway, I'm going to talk about D-Art. And D-Art is basically streaming art on screens. So we have art around us. It would be great if we had, a few screens around the world here, so we can actually enjoy some of this art rather than have it in our wallet on a MetaMask. Oops. Okay. So really, the vision is the belief is that art is good for us, and we need more of it in our physical space. And so we are about to create a subscription service that will connect creators and fans in a way that will make it art much widely accessible, affordable, and enjoyable. And the time is great now. The time is great because there are three things that converge. There is the screens. So some of you might already have, and I spoke to someone who had one. There are dedicated art screens now, not television. Some combination, but screens are actually put on the wall, and they are beautifully designed to actually show art. I don't have to pitch about the NFT art market. And there is the fact that we are all accustomed to consume content in digital, in basically subscription services. So the Spotify, the Netflix, the thing about the Netflix for art. So how it looks like. Yeah. So how it looks like. So basically you can envision similar to what you would have in your Netflix subscription. You have a variety of recommendations. It's really about helping people understand what art is there, what art is something they would like. So similar to Amazon and books, there's a long, long tail of artists and artwork that nobody actually see, and artists that don't actually reach any audience. Anyway, with a smart AI engine, we can have those lists that help people discover different things they might like. And so they choose an art. They basically do three things. They can add to their favorite list, they can add to the display list, or they actually might be able to buy it if it's for sale. But the back end, it's all NFTs, but the front end, it's regardless. And so when they add to the display list, that's how it looks like. They would have a screen in the lunch room, in the living room. They could have a screen in the kitchen. They could have it in other places, and then they build those display lists. And all they need to do then is decide how frequent they want the art to change on that screen. So from a lot of consumer discovery talks I had, no matter how small or big people's houses are, they never have enough space to display art. So have a screen that actually you can have endless amount of art display on it is very attractive to many people. Right? Even if you buy, so today when you buy a piece of art, you're kind of stuck with it for the rest of your life. 1 minute? Done? Okay, done. Okay, quickly. Anyway, strong value proposition for artists, for art lovers, for galleries, for the screen makers that are looking for this killer app to sell more screens. The roadmap, basically we want to launch the creator side, so we have supply on the platform. We want to then have gallery. We already have talks with galleries and collectors to upload them on the platform. Have partnership with venues, so we'll start with venues, display screens and art, enhance the experience of the customers, and then only then launch the home service. That's me, and running out of time. We're basically looking for builders to help join the team and build this stuff, and currently raising pre-seed funding. Thank you. Any questions? Yes.
Are you going to have like a peer-to-peer side? Say I've got an NFT and I want to put it through your platform, and then you've got like a business on the other side that wants to rent that. Is there some sort of profit share model you have there?
Yeah, so the back of it is NFTs where you can actually the owner of the NFT and the artist that have maybe 10% get basically fees based on viewing. So, and that's relatively easier to manage if it's an NFT, obviously. Yes?
With the funding, what would that include? Would that be physical screens or just artists?
Yeah, no, so we're not looking to get into the physical screen market. LG, Samsung, and many others are already in it, popping those screens. You just need this app to sell more screens. So we stay away from the hardware. We want to have an app that actually works on all the different screens in the market. Yes?
Just to go back to this point here. So it's what's on the screen are NFTs that either I own or I'm renting to. It's not essentially a screen of images that are just...
No, the vast majority is renting. So basically I think the art market is literally only $50 to $60 billion market. I think in 5 to 10 years, it will be $500 billion market. The opportunity is to flip it all on its head. It's very centralized, to decentralize it and have a rental model for art. So if it's a Picasso, and a lot of people like to watch it, to have it displayed, the owner of that Picasso will get recurring revenue quite large because it's Picasso and it's someone, but it will kind of democratize in a sense. I hate to use that word for technology, but it will basically level the field to many artists that don't have visibility. If you have a good artwork that people actually want to watch, you're going to get good revenue out of it, and it will appreciate the value of that art immediately. Yes.
How much capital are you targeting? How much capital are you targeting for your roads?
The pre-seed?
Yeah, the pre-seed.
Up to 500K.
Alright, last question.
Last question, yes?
Sorry, I've got one more.
Yeah.
So with the views, say that your Picasso is getting 99% of the views on the platform, are they getting 99% of like the share percentage revenue going to? I don't know if I can explain that best, but like say you get $1 million in total revenue from your subscription service, and they're getting 99% of the views on that Picasso. Are they getting 99% of like the revenue?
Okay,
Like
so
in terms of, yeah.
so there you mean the owner of the NFT?
The owner, sorry.
The owner, okay.
Yeah.
So the owner will get basically, cents or whatever the economics will show per viewing.
Yeah.
So if this is viewed in an apartment in New York or in Sydney or anywhere in the world for, I don't know, a week, a number of hours, they will get something. And so it's accumulative. It's basically similar like Spotify paying for song royalties. It's a royalty play. Yeah.
We'll wrap it up. So thank you so much for your pitch.
Thank you.
And next up we've got Will.
Well, hi everyone. My name is Wing. So today my story is about how do we actually bring this boring bullion industry into the NFT market. So I'm all about hearing your voices. So I'm coming from a company it's called Xbullion. So what have ooh. I think I screwed up. When it's get started. Okay. So what have we actually achieved? So this company I started in 2019. We already have 6 different products that is going to the market. So number one that we have is our digital gold and silver tokens. So it's actually backed by one physical, LNB and bullions, and that is an enormous market, especially where everyone knows is the market that is crashing down right now. Hopefully you guys know is below 30K for BTC, and right now that's why bullion is in favor. Okay, right. I'm not saying I'm trying to show off, but then everyone is PM me on LinkedIn and say, how do we get more gold? I'm like, oh, I don't know, we have an OTC platform, 100K plus. But yeah, okay. So what we have built throughout the past 2 years is we built a global settlement layer on top of what is, the very unsexy industry, okay? What we actually provide is a direct ownership and instant transfer. So back in the day when people actually trade gold and silver, that's really boring, right? So they wake up 11 p.m. because they're in Sydney, Brisbane, they have to wake up 11 p.m. to trade on the market. And what have we achieved for the past 6 months? I'm actually the marketing manager, so I'm pretty proud of that figure. It's about 123% month-to-month growth with a lot of our exchange partner. So we are listed on 6 different exchanges right now. So one of them being Sitmax in Thailand, Indonesia. Potentially we're getting into the global, and we are at Australia. So Coinstash as well, Bitrue, a lot of different exchanges coming on hand. We have just started with our XAUD, so back 1-to-1 with Australian dollar. We're actually doing a 4.2 EO. If you guys are interested, PM me on LinkedIn, as I said. Partnership with multiple exchanges and OTC platform. So we have 6 different key products going to the market. I don't want to stand too long because it's about bringing this really boring Boolean market into the NFT. But our future product does have the Gold Saver, the X Reserve, and I'm really trying to promote and convince my board of directors really tapping into the NFT gaming and metaverse market because I love it. Okay, so how do we do that? So gonna have to highlight the problem. So what do we have the problem in the NFT market? So right now, if you're looking on the chart on the right, that's actually 2 days ago. When the market is crashing, look at what happened on the NFT market. I'm not trying to scare you guys. I know you guys are NFT project owners. But it's pretty damn scary, right? Okay, yeah, it is. It actually scared me because I own some of them here. So it's too volatile, too scary, too expensive. People, if you're talking to the auntie, uncle, they'll be like, no, that's pretty scary. Too many replicate. It's not an asset class. I actually did research that. I thought NFT is an asset class, but it's actually not. So I'm like, what? So you guys investing into something that is not backed by real assets, and this is where my solutions are coming into. So what I wanted to say is, will the market, namely the crypto and NFT markets, be able to justify the valuation that has infatuated virtually all crypto assets? I think that's actually a very in-depth question everyone should really ask. And if you're the NFT project, you don't want to see your NFT, like slowly going into zero. So what we actually do, my idea is very simple. It's Boolean assets backed NFT. So what we do is we provide, the gold and silver back to your NFT, and alongside the most proven, tangible wealth assets known to man. So right now, a lot of our high net worth individuals, they really wanted to tap into the NFT market. They don't know how. So if you're talking to a traditional banker, when you're talking about NFT and crypto, they're like, no, I want to bite off it. That's how they are. So think about a possibility. So just think about when you're playing a game, when you're playing a, CS game, and you actually embellish that gun with gold, and you actually sell it on the marketplace. There's just so many possibilities there. So what I wanted to highlight is potentially treasury management. Oh, okay, and maybe last to highlight is the team that we have. So those are our team. So we have CEOs, we have a board of directors. You take a photo and have a look, browse the website. Talk to me. Any questions? I see Nathan is laughing at me. I don't like this. You guys never reply my email. Yes, questions?
What is the NFT?
What is NFT?
Where is? Because it seems like a fungible token. It seems like a
okay.
page, but it's like PAX. What's happening in US?
Okay, so what I'm trying to solve is that a lot of NFT right now, they're not really looking into, okay, they are, but then I think they try to avoid it, is how do they actually becoming less volatile? There's a lot of NFT projects out there, and there's literally 200 every day. So where is the NFT element in it? Is when you actually back by the real assets that is minted on top of your of your picture, of your artwork, of your, your in-game assets, that would actually be able to provide you a very unique, very rare items. So we're pretty much another layer on top. That's why I call it Boolean 3.0. That's exactly why. I'm actually creating a little bit more value on top of your NFT. So yeah, I don't know, an NFT? Don't ask me. Yeah, good question. Anyone else? Yes.
How do you value your NFT when you back it up with the asset?
I've actually got asked today by my colleague, and I said I don't know, but it's the wrong answer, obviously. So how do we value? So right now, gold right now is selling about $2,000 per kilo. Okay. Oh, sorry. Yes, I think it's
per kilo.
No. Per. Yes, not per kilo.
Awesome.
Although that we're trading very, very low.
I'll buy as much as you got.
No, per gram. Yep. So how do we actually value the NFT is that not only about the culture value, not only about the project value, this is all intangible, right? But I think we are, hinting the tangible assets with it. So I was actually thinking of a platform that allows people to scale from 0 to 99%. They can select how many goals that they wanted to embed with the NFT. So it's entirely up to you, of your value of the NFT.
Will you be able to trade the NFTs with yours?
Yes, you can trade the NFT on OpenSea on any secondary market. You can also come back to our platform and actually extract the NFT and extract the gold, and you can trade it separately. Yes, lady first.
Yes. Do you have any current NFTs that are actually backed and have actually gone through the process already? As
This is actually really early stage, but we are speaking with a number of gaming projects. So the project I'm talking to is Steppen. One of the I don't know if you heard of them.
What's it called?
Steppen.
Yes.
Yes, Steppen. You know the running shoes. Yeah. So what I'm trying to do is, because they have like legendary shoes, so potentially we'll back that goal. We don't mint any NFT, but we help people to mint more valuable NFTs. Yes.
Given that you're trading close to a convention product, how have you addressed the issues of an AFSL and or a Australian markets license?
This is not a security first.
But it's the underlying.
Yeah. We are actually, okay, so this is a David question, it's not my question, David, talk to this guy, but I'll answer you. So we are in a process of actually getting a financial license.
AFSL or Australian markets?
AFSL, yeah. But I don't think this is NFT, David will be like, we're spending so much money getting AFSL, you're going to do NFT, are you serious? Oh yeah, I'm hopefully not going to get fired over this meeting. They don't know that I'm here for you. This slide is not even supposed to be here. Yes.
Yeah, so having an NFT backed by the tangible asset obviously decreases the volatility, but also limits the value of it. So it's not going to 10x, 100x if it's worth 1 gram of gold or something.
I think I do see where your concern is. What I'm trying to do is really stabilize the market. I do understand that a lot of people are actually taking an opportunity because the market is volatile, right? But the project that we are approaching are probably bigger project that, for example, Axie Infinity, the SLP is actually gone to 1 cent. If they actually use our treasury, actually pack the money into gold, that wouldn't really happen, right? So I'm not talking about okay, maybe smaller scale is not okay, but then when we're talking about a bigger influential games or NFT that actually potentially will collapse tomorrow just because no one is buying it, the demand supply just failed. Yes, the NFT will remain, will be just the gold packed. For example, if you gold pack by a kilo of gold, there will be like 20k left. Okay, there you go. But at the end of the day, it's really reducing the volatility of the NFT market. And I'm not only talking about NFT, I'm talking about like gaming, metaverse. I know I didn't really highlight in the PDF, but yeah.
Alright, sorry, we'll just have to cut it off there. You can find me after this. So thank you so much for your pitch. Next we've got Chris.
Right, good evening. My name is Chris Kwan. And what I'm going to present tonight is NFT patents. Excuse me. I'm actually a lawyer, so my job is to negotiate patent licensing with people. So it takes a lot of my time. I don't really like it because I charge fixed fees. So what I did was that I changed the concept of licensing. So if you don't know about licensing requires one party and another party to agree on the royalty. So if you can't agree, it's going to be difficult. So what I did is that I got rid of the royalty. So we don't need royalty. And then there are different agreements that are needed for licensing. So I have a standard agreement. And the other thing is that it's difficult to enforce. So the solution is that I put the license inside the NFT. The license now is based on volume. So for example, each license allows you to have $1 million of profit. So the minute you cross over the $1 million of profit for your license, you need to get another one. So the way it works is that each time you make more money, you pay as you make more money. That's the way we should do it. Currently with royalty, it's always based on the profit itself. So it's 5% of $100, but if you make only $1 million and you don't make $2 million, so if you make $1 million, you don't pay me anything. But if you make $2 million, then you have to buy a second NFT from the market, which I'll be selling you. So that's the way I make money, the patentee makes money, and then you have a way to make more profit by buying a second NFT. All right, so I hope that doesn't confuse people a bit. This is the first one. The first one is already on OpenSea. We've already done it, it's a US patent. And this is my minting page. So already done, you can actually go to this page, which is poly.nft.patent.net. You do have to be a patentee. So if you're not a patentee, you're an artist, you can't use this. So once you've done that, the token, the NFT, will be issued to you, and then you can put it on OpenSea and sell it. Oops, sorry, that's team. So, yep. So that's, oh, sorry, it's team. So any question? Yes?
First, fascinating, brilliant idea.
I'm sorry.
But I'm curious, so basically you're taking a patent, you're putting it into an NFT, and then you're...
No, the patent license, not the patent, the patent license, yes.
So if I'm buying an NFT off the secondary market, what am I buying?
You're buying a license to use that patent.
So that's not an opportunity to derive income.
Yeah, that's of course, because a patent, for example, a patent always gives you some product. Say the product is like some sort of vaccine, like Moderna should have a couple of patents. So you license it from Moderna, and then you create your vaccines and you make tons of money. So that's how licensing works. Patent always belong to the patentee, the owner of the patents.
Okay, so this is a way to distribute the...
Yes, that's right, because the problem we have is that we have to negotiate with every party. So when you put it on OpenSea, every party can see the patent license is there. So all they have to do is bid for the license. So that takes care of the royalty issue, because I don't want to spend too much time arguing with 5% or 4%, because all these are projections. When they do negotiate, they actually, one lawyer comes in with the spreadsheet, another lawyer comes with the spreadsheet, and they project the next 5 years, which is ridiculous. It takes too much of my time, so I don't like it. So this is the way we're going to do it. No royalty. Tell me how much you want to pay for my license. And then if you cross my 1 million, you pay me for a second one. And that's going to be based on market forces at the time. Obviously, if you're like my product is going to change the world, then the NFT, when you have to buy it, it's going to be extraordinary. So that's how I'm going to make my money. Yes, sir.
So for instance, have you thought about how you validate the profitability? Have you considered revenue rather than profitability?
Yeah, no. I'm sorry. I'm using the word profitability. It can be revenue. It can be net profit. It can be. I'm just using profit. I'm sorry. I should have told that.
And then what do you need to get it started to really get it up and running?
I'm actually building the OpenSea version of OpenSea for IP. For IP, for patents, for trademarks, for whatever that goes there. Yes. Sorry. I don't really want OpenSea, because OpenSea doesn't actually. There's a lot of requirements. There's a lot of requirements that OpenSea doesn't help me. But now I'm just putting in the things inside so people understand what the patent is about. But technically, I need more stuff than that. If you guys are in the licensing field, you will know that in 2016 there's a big IP company called IPXI in the US that crashed. And they have a very similar model to what I have today. Which I try to improve. So this is the improvement. But trust me, if you're in the legal field, if you're charging per hour, it's good. It's good for you, but it's not good for me. Those who charge per fixed product. So we are trying to change the legal mindset of lawyers. At the same time, we're trying to help the patentees who basically are not that rich, unless you're big pharmaceutical companies like Moderna, which can afford $500 per hour lawyers. So
How do you validate revenue?
I haven't. I'm just testing the model at the moment. So that's why my ask here is that if you know a patentee friend, or UNSW or any of the big universities who have a lot of patents, to try this out instead of spending fees on lawyers, trying to get your license across. Because after all, you have nothing to lose. The longer your patent sits in your drawer, you're not going to get any money from it. It's 20 years from the day you file, and most license actually comes in around the 10th year. So you only have 10 more years to run. Basically, if you look at the stats.
Great. Well, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you so much, Chris.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. Okay.
Hi there. My name is Tim Lee from Walking Between Worlds. Just before we start, just want to further on from Isabella's welcome to the country and pay respect to our elders, past, present, and emerging. The first thing is the metaverse for everybody here is an amazing opportunity, as we all know. In fact, it's a generational opportunity. The Citibank report, 13 trillion market economy. Problem is, it's not for everybody. Not everybody has that opportunity. And if you look around the world, an ever-widening digital divide continues to hold back global indigenous communities. And this is a time when the markets are ready to go. Financial Times article, end of January 2022 is the year of First Nations Art. So we have got a social impact play with a commercial twist. But fundamentally, what we're looking towards doing is creating 6 pillars of empowerment, as you can see, which fundamentally aggregate and amplify global indigenous voices through NFTs, with Australia being the MVP and representing the global playbook. And this is a blended structure of NFTs and cryptocurrency, looking to build community engagement through NFTs, to platform build, which is through a community-based token, and commercialize and develop technology externally. And so this is the roadmap where we've actually got the 3 collections that we're launching. The first has been launched, as we'll show, but building through to an exit onto a major exchange in Q1 next year. The first phase is launched. It's the world's first genuine indigenous generative collection. And we minted, unfortunately, the day after Putin invaded Ukraine, but we've managed to sell about 50 grand's worth of art. 30% goes to indigenous charities, as chosen by the artists themselves. This is the breakdown of the gross profit that actually comes in. Collections 2 and 3, we're looking at fusion pieces between global indigenous artists, shared values but unique art. And we're just about to release the first charitable chunk from the collection that's come through to offer an art centre the ability to have 5 iPads to train young indigenous artists. And if their art is good enough, it'll be in collection 3. The utility benefits all linked into the Walking Between Worlds token by building a community skill sharing. For example, we've got 3D indigenous and 3D artists out of Germany that want to work with indigenous artists, and the idea of actually rewarding them through a tokenized structure. So it's very much about creating phase 2, which is the cryptocurrency token that aligns everybody towards the mission, which you've actually seen before, about how we want to energize global indigenous communities to capitalize on NFTs. The mandatory DAO structure, as we've actually got with everything else, full tokenization, and tokenomics has been evaluated. And this is the team. We're proud to be fully doxed. We do have an indigenous co-founder and chair. She's spent 25 years in indigenous well-being and suicide prevention, a global expert. And we are about to release our token raise with the seed round with 3 different tranches that will be coming through. This will be only available to wholesale investors, unfortunately. And our ask today is simple amplification assistance for the project, and crypto investors and quality book builders very happy to open up discussions. Please feel free to come have a chat afterwards.
You've been doing this
for a couple of months. You've launched one project, one round as others come. How's it changed for you over the months you've been doing for the project?
Well, we've been working on this for 14 months. It's taken us that long to get engagement from the Indigenous community. I mean, as a white, middle-aged Englishman, I am the wrong person to front this in many ways, right? But because I've got the wealth of knowledge in the blockchain space, been in this space professionally since 2015, and we have an Indigenous cultural broker through Vanessa that works together. So the project has evolved over that 14 months. And certainly collections 2 and 3 will be a lot more straightforward as compared to the earlier versions, because we've had an awful lot of learnings, which actually gives us a moat around what we're doing, because the challenges that we've been through have been immense, but we've achieved what we've achieved right now. So it's constantly evolving, constant learning all around, but the social impact is so important as a long-term project, but we're deliberately engineering so it's a social impact project where investors can get rewarded. So, yeah.
Didn't you mention you set up a DAO, is that right?
Yeah, as part of the seed round, this is obviously where all the legal structures come in, so there will be a DAO linked into, I mean, there is a draft technical structure that I can show, which is that, which shows the way that we're implementing it.
How do you plan to set it up, whether here or overseas?
The best practice advice that we're getting at the moment is offshore, in terms of the legal entity. Obviously, the DAO is not recognised. There's not a LAO as there is in Wyoming or a POW in Australia. But the social enterprise vehicle has to be based in Australia. So the trading entity will be based in Australia. The IP will be an offshore company. There'll be a separate arm to commercialise. And then the DAO will actually be, obviously, be in charge of the tokenisation for the community.
Are you going to have a art gallery in the metaverse?
Yes, absolutely. There's within the, so let me just bring this back to the, I'll probably flick through that a bit quickly here. But fundamentally, we're creating metaverse centres with global Indigenous art and cultural centres. So there's an immersive structure. So for example, we've been in discussions with vibrational healers from the Indigenous community that heal via didgeridoos. And it's the idea of how can one blend that into a metaverse type structure. Well, it needs to be a blend. To be honest, it's got to be a number of them, because we've got to have it as a destination point. And so clearly, if you've got Sandbox, Decentraland, CryptoVoxes, all those major ones, I mean, it's about having the right presence in the strongest of the metaverses. But I mean, ultimately, as we all know, it's all going to evolve and change. But the idea is, as part of the major raise, we actually want to buy some land, but then we'll, look towards doing some financial engineering around that.
If you buy the NFT, would you be owning the IP rights for it?
At this moment, no. For personal usage, yes. Commercial usage, there are some, in the first collection, this is one of the points that Craig was making, we've had to protect there's a thing called ICIP, which is Indigenous Cultural Intellectual Property. So we have to protect that in the short term, because we can't afford to have people abusing the intellectual property that's contained within the art. So initially, it's just personal at this stage. Doesn't mean it won't change in the future, but right now, it's just personal.
Yeah, just last question. How many Indigenous people work in the company and are in the board of the company making decisions?
At this moment, we have we have Vanessa, who's a co-founder, and implementer. We've got the 4 Indigenous artists are providing guidance and advice. We are looking towards extending the number of parties to come on board. We're looking to appointing, with funding, a general manager that has both Indigenous, commercial, and ideally crypto experience. But that latter part is going to be very hard to find. So certainly, right now, it's not as much as we'd like to have, but we're very, very conscious it's not appropriate to have all white men and yeah, within the audience, within the makeup.
Well, thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you, Isabel.
And next we have Nishant. There you are.
I'm Nishant from Upside Finance. This is slightly a different project from the previous pitches. Okay. So, by investing in crypto, right, you're exposing yourself to a number of risks, and those are like rug pulls, impermanent loss, and so on. What we are proposing is a lossless lottery on Algorand, where we incentivize people to save, and then they get rewarded. So it works by, so we aggregate the amount that users put in on the platform, we put it in the lending and borrowing platforms, which accumulates an interest, and then that interest is given to one lucky winner. The rest get their money back, and this is done through a transparent mechanism. So at the moment, we have graduated from Algorand Accelerator program. We have had over 10K in prize money. We have also launched alpha product, have had like a number of users, and a large community, and which is rapidly growing. So at the moment, we have minted some reward tokens. We have a draft white paper. We would be shortly launching NFTs so that we have we raise money. And in the meanwhile, we'll also be working on a beta product, and we will have a mainnet launch sometime in Q3, so August-ish. Later on, we would be expanding to other blockchains so that we are able to utilize the audience on those blockchains like Solana and Ethereum. The business model, well, we would be taking about 10% of the interest generated from the lossless lotteries. We would also be considering having branded pools. Now, we are aiming for 4.5 million in TVL over the next 2 years, but this is like, we understand that this is like a conservative estimate given that the blockchain industry has grown over 47% year over year. We are currently the only lossless lottery on Algorand. We have a strong network of projects, and the Algorand ecosystem is fast-growing ecosystem, right? We are using Reach, which is a superior technology. It's safer and it's quicker to build using Reach. I'm Nishant, this is Tejas. The two of us have been working on this project since December. And we have over 2 years of experience working in the blockchain space and a lot of experience in our respective fields. Right now, we are raising about $600K US for a 12-month runway. Key expenses would be audits. Audits would basically take up a lot of money, and then hires such as community managers and probably software engineers. But yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's social media. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, with the TVL, how do you, where is that coming from? What kind of product?
So at the moment we calculated that based on the growth of AlgoFi on Algorand. So we aim to capture a certain percent of AlgoFi, and that's how we came up with that number. But again, those are based on how the growth of AlgoFi would be, a lot of assumptions there.
What's the use of funds? Is this something else?
So the use of funds, right? So most of it would go towards audits, like the audits cost over 200K, and then the rest would be going towards hiring community managers and AWS engineers. Okay. Oh yeah, so we are using VRFs, verifiable random functions, provided by Algorical, which is like Chainlink on Algorand. So we have already partnered with them and announced that partnership. And so this is like a transparent and fair mechanism. Like Keyblade, for example, provides verifiable data, and such is what we're using. Okay.
So, here's straight. If everyone put their money in, say everyone put $50 in, and one person's going to win the lottery of the invested amount based off out of 5, whatever it is, when it comes back.
Yeah.
Everyone else just gets their $50 back.
Yeah.
How is that everyone's saving compared to, say, if I was just to put my money directly down to buy and get at the moment 3.5% on that, of interest, right? So effectively, I'm just putting my money there and I'm getting it back, but I'm not earning any interest on top.
So that is an APY, right? On an annual basis, you would be earning like about 3%. But here we are talking about lotteries that would run on a weekly basis. And that is because we would have such an amount, we are aiming for such an amount locked. So just for example, a competitor on Ethereum has over 20K lotteries on a daily basis. And yeah, that's just to give you a scale of how it can work.
So I'm swapping out my ability to earn anything additional on my money for the potential to earn a large sum of money.
Yeah, yeah, something that probably is a large number of times. Yeah.
Can you guys consider lotteries regulation here, whether you need a license or
Right. So this is not really a lottery, right? This is more like a savings mechanism. We are calling it lottery because it's easier to explain it to our users. Also, it's based on, like, we have talked to a number of people. At the moment, we don't see any regulatory issues, given that it's blockchain based, and also we are not handling any money by ourselves. The smart contract does.
No. You have to speak to a lawyer.
Yeah, definitely. Like once we have the money, like we'll definitely speak with, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I've actually done something very similar on one of the exchanges as a marketing campaign. Are you considering any white label API that is going to plug in for any exchanges or for any tokens to use this particular method?
We could be open to any kind of partnerships, if that's what you mean.
Oh, yeah. No, okay, I'll talk to you. All right.
Yeah.
Any final questions for the show?
On our brand at the moment, we've got a product, I don't know if you know Yieldly at
Yes.
all. It's a very similar sort of concept.
So Yieldly stopped their lossless lotteries, if I'm not wrong, in the recent few months.
Yeah.
And they are moving towards what they call pancake swap for Algorand. At the moment, from what we know, we are the only lossless lottery which will be connecting to AlgoFi. And this is, we are pretty sure about this because AlgoFi recently released their APIs to connect, and even Force Finance, so they're pretty new.
How big were the 80 lotteries that you've already done?
Sorry, these 80 lotteries, so we, it was on the Alpha product, right? Those were created by people, like people had their own tokens and they were allowed to create their own lotteries. We were just testing out the lottery mechanism. Yeah, so our beta product would be launched in the next few weeks' time, so we'll just have to wait for that.
Cool. And then we might just wrap it up there. Well, thank you so much. Well, just another quick thank you to all of our presenters today. Great job, everyone, and I'm sure the audience have still quite a lot of questions, so please go find the founders and have a chat afterwards. Just a few final words from me before we wrap up the event. We've got a few upcoming events in our pipeline, so I believe next week we've got 2 meetups. So one, we've got Meet the Web3 VC. So this event will just be about the opportunities in the VC space for upcoming Web3 NFT projects. We'll have a bunch of VCs talk about their experiences as well. Then we also have a Web3 communities meetup, so we'll have people from the local Sydney network coming for a big sort of networking event, which will be very, very fun. Then the week after, we've got DAOs and legal. So if you're thinking of joining a DAO, getting involved in one, or setting up a DAO yourself, this is a good event, as we'll have a lawyer come in talking about the legalities. We'll have people who run DAOs talk about their insight in terms
terms of building it, creating it, things like that. And then, very, very interesting one. So, for the past couple of weeks, we've been asking you what sort of programs you would like to learn, and I think we had about more than 100-something responses saying we really want to learn how to create a NFT collection. And so you guys all know this has been in the works for quite a long time, and I'm very, very proud to say that we're finally launching this. So if you'd like to join our first NFT creating crash course that we'll be doing on June 10th, just sign up to the waitlist here. We'll be launching it next week, but if you sign up to the waitlist, obviously you get first dibs. It is a limited, it's a limited release, so I think there's only 10 or 20 spots, so be quick. But yeah, otherwise, let me just, sorry.
Question about this.
Yes.
What level of knowing of NFT?
Very, very good question. So this is basically for beginners. We'll be going through really the basics of what is an NFT, why you should use it. We'll have use cases, and it's really taking you step by step how to create that collection itself, whether you are an artist, whether you're a brand just wanting to sort of use NFTs in your marketing or your business. And yeah, so very accessible, no need to have any sort of prior knowledge at all. Or if you do have some knowledge, this is a great sort of like revision sort of program. But come chat to me if you want to know a little bit more. But yeah, otherwise sign up. A few more things, yeah, we still have that NFT giveaway, so snap some photos or tweet at us and then enter the draw. I mean, it's a free Kimmy, who doesn't want that? And please help yourself to the rest of the food and the drinks. And on behalf of Haymarket HQ, Tech Central, thank you all for coming.